Well, folks, it seems our neighbors to the north are once again in Trump's trade crosshairs. The ongoing trade tensions between the United States and Canada have taken a new turn. That's right, the Donald is slapping a hefty 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports. This move has sent shockwaves through the manufacturing sector, and guess who happens to be the biggest supplier of both to the US? It's none other than our friendly neighbor Canada. You guessed it, Canada. The country has been a reliable source of these essential materials for years. It seems even being America's hat isn't enough to escape the wrath of these tariffs. The relationship between the two countries is being tested once again. This isn't exactly breaking news though. Trade disputes have been a recurring theme in North American relations. Trump pulled a similar stunt back in 2018, claiming national security concerns. The justification was met with skepticism then, and it's no different now, because nothing screams national security threat like a Canadian moose wearing a hockey jersey, eh? The absurdity of the situation hasn't been lost on anyone. But seriously, these tariffs could have a real impact. The livelihoods of many workers and the economies of both nations are at stake. We're talking about billions of dollars worth of steel and aluminum that cross the border every year. The scale of this trade is enormous. The US relies on this stuff for everything from cars to buildings to beer cans. The ripple effects of these tariffs could be felt across multiple industries. So how's Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responding to all this? Well, he's not taking it lying down, that's for sure. Trudeau has made it clear that Canada will retaliate with counter tariffs if the US goes through with this. He's got a point, you know. The US and Canada have this little thing called an integrated economy. That means what hurts one usually ends up hurting the other. It's like trying to punch someone while standing in a canoe. You're both going overboard. Trudeau's not just talking tough either. He's got a plan, and it involves targeting specific US imports. Think bourbon, motorcycles, maybe even those little ketchup packets they're so fond of down south. Now, you might be thinking, didn't we already do this tariff tango back in 2018? Well, yes, you'd be right. Trump imposed similar tariffs back then, and Canada hit back with their own. It was a tit-for-tat situation that escalated quickly, affecting businesses and consumers on both sides of the border. Eventually they worked things out, but not before both sides felt the pinch. Factories slowed down, shipping containers sat empty, and the economic impact was felt far and wide. But here's the thing, this time feels different. The stakes seem higher, and the global landscape has changed. The global economy is a bit more fragile now. With the pandemic's aftermath still looming, economies are struggling to recover. And let's not forget about the whole trade war with China thing that's still simmering in the background. The tension between these two economic giants adds another layer of complexity. Adding fuel to the fire with Canada seems like a recipe for disaster. It's like throwing a match into a room full of gasoline. Look, I'm no economist, but even I can see that starting trade wars on multiple fronts is rarely a good idea. Experts warn that such actions could lead to severe economic downturns. It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle. Eventually, something's got to give. The risks are high, and the potential for disaster is even higher. So, what's next in this North American trade tiff? The stakes are high and the tension is palpable. Well, Canada is hoping to talk some sense into the US before things escalate further. Diplomatic channels are buzzing with activity as both sides try to find common ground. They're pointing out how these tariffs will hurt businesses and consumers on both sides of the border. The economic repercussions could be severe, affecting everything from small businesses to large corporations. But let's not forget about Quebec. This province has its own unique challenges and stakes in this trade dispute. This French-speaking province sends a whole lot of aluminum down south. Aluminum is a key export for Quebec, and these tariffs could severely impact its economy. They're not too thrilled about these tariffs, and they're making their voices heard. Protests and rallies are becoming a common sight as citizens demand action. The Bloc Québécois, Quebec's political party, is urging the Canadian government to stand firm against Trump's protectionist policies. They're calling for a strong response to protect Quebec's interests. They're even suggesting that Canada might want to rethink its energy exports to the US. This could be a significant move, affecting the energy sector on both sides of the border. Now that would really shake things up. The potential for economic disruption is enormous, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Stay tuned, folks, this trade war is just heating up. The next few weeks could be crucial in determining the future of North American trade relations.